Today we are going to deal with our genetic control, that is cell function and reproduction of cell. So this is somewhat a big chapter, but let us try to complete it as soon as possible. So apoptosis, these are the keywords in the beginning, like apoptosis, it's a program, cell death, and gene is nothing but a sequence of DNA which codes for the proteins or also cellular trait. So what is actually the process of transcription and translation? So in a simple process we can say like transcription is nothing but our DNA is converting into RNA, and translation is nothing but RNA is converting into protein. But remember that this conversion of DNA into RNA is in the nucleus itself, but this conversion of RNA into protein, that is a translation process, takes place in the cytoplasm because the proteins are formed in the cytoplasm. So once let us look at the definition like thing. So transcription is nothing but the assembly of RNA chain from activated nucleotide using the DNA strand as a template. So here templates is like nothing but a parent chain from which another chain forms. So translation is nothing but the process by which the genetic info on the mRNA is used to make proteins in a ribosome. So we know ribosome is an important one to help in formation of proteins. So gene mainly controls the substances synthesis within the cells. So each gene have a DNA. So you can let us start a story now. So first you take a cell, right? For example, this is a cell. Or else I can take an example like a stone. So this is a cell. In the cell we have a nuclei. In the nuclei, for example, this red one is a nuclei. In this nuclei we have our genes, DNA. In the DNA we have a gene, and we have a chromosome inside it. So you can see here each gene have a DNA which mainly controls the RNA, and RNA controls the protein synthesis. That is nothing but this all together, that is gene expression. So what is gene expression actually? It is nothing but the transcription plus translation and also protein formation or protein metabolites protein formation. So this is a gene expression. So whenever a gene is expressed, you can understand that it is nothing but forming a protein at last. So by the process of transcription and translation in middle. So there are about 30,000 different genes in each cell. Remember that every cell have 30,000 different genes, and they produce different proteins. So even RNA which is produced from the same DNA or from the same gene, it can form again different types of proteins. So at least 1 lakh different proteins are able to form in our humans. So these proteins are divided into structural protein and enzymes. So actually structural proteins are associated with lipids and carbohydrates and form intracellular organelles. If you see our last video, you can understand how intracellular organelles are formed. And majority of proteins are mainly enzymes. So enzymes are they catalyze different chemical reactions in the cell. So these are enzymes. So majority of the proteins are enzymes. So what are these enzymes? Let us see. Enzymes mainly promote all oxidative reactions and supply the energy to the cell along with the synthesis of cell chemicals like lipids, glycogen, ATP, etc. So in nucleus, the genes are mainly attached end on end, and the DNA molecular weight is about billions. But you can understand like how these billions of DNA is fit into our nucleus, mainly by process of folding, and these are tightly held by histone proteins. We will see those histone proteins are actually electropositive proteins. They hold this DNA together and they condense them and they hold them tightly in a nucleus. So this long billions of nucleus, billions length of nucleus, or I can say very much high length of DNA is fit into our nucleus because of some proteins and also because of its condensive nature. So in nucleus the genes are it is completed. So DNA, now let us see how the DNA is formed. Actually this is like a biochemistry lesson. For sure we are going to discuss in biochemistry very detailed, very much explanatory form. So just now we will see like an overview in this physiology. So DNA, so how DNA is formed? Actually DNA is made up of, first one is a phosphoric acid, that is the phosphorus, and sugar mainly in DNA. As DNA it is, DNA full form is deoxyribonucleic acid. So here the sugar in the DNA is deoxyribose, and the nitrogenous base are like there are 4 nitrogenous bases mainly, which are divided into purines and pyrimidines. So what are those purines? We have mainly 2 purines, that is adenine and guanine, and we have 2 pyrimidines, that is thymine and cytosine. So adenine, guanine, thymine and cytosines. Thymine and cytosines are pyrimidines and purines are adenine and guanine. So the phosphoric acid and the deoxyribose mainly form 2 helical strands, that is the backbone of DNA. For example, this is the DNA before coiling, that is before helical structure. So these 2 strands are mainly formed by our phosphorus along with our deoxyribose sugar. So these are the backbone of the DNA. and the nitrogenous bases lie between the two strands and connect them. So here in between we have nitrogenous bases. What are those nitrogen bases? They may be purines and pyrimidines. So for example, here adenine, here guanine. So like this is the phosphoric acid and deoxyribose, which are mainly forming the backbone of the DNA, and inside they have the nitrogenous bases which are attaching on the both sides like this. For example, we know actually adenine in DNA always binds with thymine by double bond, and guanine binds with cytosine on other side by triple bond. So this everyone knows. So like this, they are inside, they are bound by hydrogen and remember that these are hydrogen bonds, and these are loose bonds which are present between this phosphorus and deoxyribose, but inside there are hydrogen bonds. Even hydrogen bonds are loose bonds here between adenine and thymine and between guanine and cytosine. So these are the 4 nitrogenous bases which are present like this inside our DNA. And next you can see here nucleotides. Now let us see nucleotides, how the nucleotides form. Actually the first is how the nucleotide is formed. Like first the phosphoric acid binds with the deoxyribose and along with one base. One base means as we said are nitrogenous bases and form an acidic nucleotide. So how these are formed? For example, let us check out the 4 nucleotides for each base. So you can see here deoxyadenylylic, deoxythymidyllic, deoxyguanylinic, deoxycytidyllic. So here you can see here deoxy is a sugar along with phosphoric acid and one base. This form a nucleotide. Here adenylylic means here adenyl, adenine is used, here guanine is used as base, and here guanine here cytosine. So like that. So actually these nucleotides are organized to form mainly 2 strands of the DNA, and these are loosely bound to each other. Just now we have said they are forming loose bonds between them by weak cross linkages. And the purine, pyrimidine, between this purine and pyrimidine we have the loose hydrogen bonds. These are attached to the sides of deoxyribose molecules. So we have said this for example, this is phosphoric acid, this is deoxyribose, phosphoric deoxy. So remember that to this deoxyribose only our nitrogenous bases are added by means of this side bond. That is what they are saying. Attached to the sides of deoxyribose molecules. So each purine base like adenine of first strand always bonds with the pyrimidine base of thymine of other strand. As we said just now, adenine binds with thymine. So if you remember, thymine is pyrimidine and adenine is purine. So purine binding with pyrimidine. Same like this. Here guanine is purine and cytosine is a pyrimidine. So purine binding with a pyrimidine by means of loose hydrogen bonds. So each purine base guanine always bound with a pyrimidine base cytosine. Just now we are talking. So 10 pairs of nucleotides are present in each full turn of helix in DNA. So this is what, like we know DNA helix is like this, right? So in this one helix there are about 10 nucleotides. So what is nucleotides? Once again let us say a summary. So nucleotide is nothing but made up of one phosphoric acid, one deoxyribose sugar and one base. That base may be either purine or pyrimidine according to the site. So always remember that purine binds with the pyrimidine by means of hydrogen bonds. And remember also that the 2 deoxyribose sugar side chain only this nitrogen and bases are attached. So this is about the basic structure. Now let us see about genetic codes. So genetic codes is nothing but when 2 DNA strands are split. So actually DNA strand, you can say this 2 DNA strand, whenever they undergo the process of splitting, that is they are separating, then the purine and pyrimidine are exposed out, and these projecting bases mainly form the genetic code. So actually whenever they split, here they form like code like system. Actually 3 codes, these 3 nucleotides form one code. Remember that 3 nucleotides form one code. So let us see some examples so you can get a clear idea. So you can see genetic code have mainly successive triplets of bases, so which mainly control the amino acids. So in turn they form the they have a control on the protein. So the top strand of the DNA reading from left to right. So whenever we split the DNA, for example, so whenever we split the DNA, we have the top strand and the bottom strand, right? So this top strand we need to read it from left to right side in this direction, from left side to right side. So for example, here we have GAG, AGC, something I'm writing. So this GAG is one triplet and this AGC is one triplet. So one triplet is which is coding for amino acid, and this amino acid later controls the protein synthesis. So this is how they are linked. So the top strand of DNA reading always from left to right has a genetic code, like for example, so you can say GGC, it codes for proline, that is our amino acid, and AGA codes for serine, and CT this is CTT, I think, CTT for glutamic acid. So like this, each triplet codes for one amino acids. So the DNA code in the nucleus is transferred to RNA code in cytoplasm, because we know as RNA is present in cytoplasm. So this process is nothing but transcription again. So DNA to RNA is transcription and RNA to protein is translation. So for transcription, the DNA split and one strand act as a template, and the code triplets of DNA are complementary code triplets in RNA. So remember that in DNA we have codes and in RNA we have codons. This is very important concepts. So in DNA we have codes and in RNA we have codons, and these are complementary with each other, means they are opposite to each other. For example, here we have adenine, guanine, AGA. If you take AGA, this is in DNA and this is called as code. But in RNA it is transferred into adenine to thymine, but in RNA it is uracil. So uracil to cytosine and again uracil. So this UCU is now called as codon. So this is complementary, means it is not same, it is opposite, complementary to the DNA. So RNA are the codons and they control mainly amino acids. For in turn they control the protein synthesis in a cytoplasm. And here you can see RNA, how RNA form. Now let us see. RNA have one ribose sugar, like actually ribose sugar have an extra hydroxyl ion, and thymine is replaced by another pyrimidine, that is uracil. Even remember that even uracil is pyrimidine. Only adenine and guanine are purines, and our pyrimidines are cytosine, thymine and uracil. Remember that uracil in case of RNA and thymine in case of DNA. So that is one more important in case of pyrimidines. And now let us see how RNA nucleotide is formed. So these bases are like adenine, guanine, cytosine, and remember uracil in case of RNA. And this RNA nucleotide mainly it is activated by enzyme known as RNA polymerase, and this occurs mainly by adding two extra phosphoric radicals to each nucleotide. These phosphoric radicals are derived from the ATP. So we know whenever ATP is broken down, it releases this phosphate. So this extra phosphate radical is added to each nucleotide in case of our RNA nucleotide. So once again let us see it clearly. So RNA nucleotide activated, it is mainly activating the enzyme, or it is activated by enzyme RNA polymerase, and it occurs mainly by adding two extra phosphoric radicals to each nucleotide. These phosphoric radicals are derived from ATP. So by adding this two extra phosphorus, this nucleotide is activated to form mainly triphosphates. So by this process, new RNA nucleotide is added at the end of developing RNA chain. So actually whenever RNA chain is developing, to add the new RNA nucleotide, first it should get 3 extra phosphates. So whenever there are 3 extra phosphates added to RNA, then only it is activated mainly by RNA polymerase, and this extra 3 phosphates, this RNA nucleotide now can add to the new developing RNA chain. So like this RNA chain gets extended. So the DNA strand ahead of the gene is mainly having a sequence of nucleotides that is called as promoter region, and this promoter region is attached with the RNA polymerase, and it causes mainly unwinding of about two turns of DNA helix and separation of unwound portions of two strands. So what they are saying is, if you want to separate DNA is like this helix. If you want to separate like this into two strands, then the promoter region is nothing but the sequence of nucleotides. It should be associated with RNA polymerase, then it causes to leading unwinding, that is two strands are separated from each other by this process. So the polymerase moves. So now what happens is, this RNA polymerase moves in the DNA strand and add the new activated RNA nucleotide to the end of newly forming RNA. Just now we said how we need to add this 3 phosphorus, then only we can add the new RNA at the end. So now what happens is, this RNA polymerase, it passes by this and keep on adding the new RNA strand at the end of this DNA strand. So how this is formed, let us see. The first it causes a hydrogen bond to form between the end base of DNA and the base of RNA nucleotide in the nucleoplasm, and later the RNA polymerase breaks 2 of 3 phosphate away from the RNA nucleotide and liberate large energy mainly from broken high energy phosphate bonds, and this energy used to cause the covalent linkage of remaining phosphate on nucleotide with ribose on the end of growing RNA chain. So this is what is going to take place now. And when RNA polymerase reaches the end of DNA, it encounters the new DNA nucleotide sequence called the chain terminating sequence. This causes the polymerase and newly formed RNA to break away from DNA strand. So the polymerase is used again and again to form still more new RNA chains. So this is nothing but the process of transcription they are saying. As they are saying, first the DNA is like this. So first the DNA separates like this, and new RNAs keep on ending in the terminal chain like this. As the new, one act as a template, that is a parent chain, and this leads to formation of RNA molecule. So from the DNA molecule, as we said, it is forming codes. Against this codes, the complementary codons are forming and leading to formation of new RNA chain. So this is how the new RNA chain is formed by the process of transcription from the template DNA by action of mainly our RNA polymerase enzyme. So next we'll see now that as new RNA strand is formed, weak hydrogen bonds with the DNA template break away, so the RNA chain is formed away from DNA and released into nucleoplasts. So this is how a new RNA chain is formed. That is the process of transcription has took place now. So the code in the DNA strand is transmitted in complementary form to RNA chain. So the ribose nucleotide bases always combine with the deoxyribose bases. So once let us check out what are these DNA bases and RNA bases. So in DNA bases, guanine with cytosine, cytosine with guanine, adenine with uracil. Only the change is uracil in RNA and thymine with adenine. So there are different types of RNA. There are about 6 different types of RNA, or let us say different types of RNA. The first type of RNA is the precursor messenger RNA, that is also called as pre-mRNA. So this pre-mRNA is a large immature single strand RNA, and this process in the nucleus to form the mature messenger RNA. So pre-RNA is divided into introns and exons. Introns are removed by splicing and exons are retained in the final mRNA. So remember that exons are remained in the final mRNA. So the small nuclear RNA, next let us see small nuclear RNA, this is sRNA, snRNA. The splicing of pre-mRNA to form the mRNA is nothing but snRNA. And mRNA carry the genetic code to cytoplasm for controlling the synthesis of protein form. So this mRNA plays an important role in our protein synthesis. And tRNA also, that is, it transposes the activated amino acid to the ribosome to use in the assembly of protein molecule. So whenever the protein form, so to assemble it also a tRNA, because of transporting of amino acids to ribosome, so it is also playing important role in our formation of proteins. And rRNA is associated with 75 different proteins which forms ribosomes, and physically and chemically the structure on which proteins are assembled is nothing but rRNA. So this is ribosomal RNA, this is transfer RNA, this is messenger RNA, this is small nuclear RNA, this is precursor mRNA. Now the last one is microRNA. MicroRNA is a single-stranded RNA of 21 to 23 nucleotides which mainly regulate the gene transcription and also translation. That's a simple function. Now let us see the mRNA codons. So the long single-stranded RNA in the cytoplasm, and they have 100 to thousands of RNA nucleotides mainly in the unpaired strands, and contains codons which are complementary to the code and the triplets of DNA genes. So here, as we said, for proline serine, so these are the complementary genes for that: CCG, UCU for proline serine, GA for glutamic acids. So the RNA codons for different amino acids also have some start codon, stop codons. These are examples. We also have several different codons. So start codon is mainly AUG, and the stop codons are UGA, UAG, UAA. And next, coming to tRNA. tRNA forms mainly anticodons. Remember that anticodons are similar to codes. Codes means the DNA codes. Anticodons, because anticodons are now formed against the mRNA. So actually, for example, now you can understand this is CCU, for example CCG. This CCG anticodon is nothing but GGC. So this GGC is what, that is from our DNA code. So remember that always anticodon is equal to codes, means they are similar. So the anticodons, actually the transfer RNA, tRNA transfers the amino acids to the protein molecules as proteins are being synthesized. So the each type of tRNA along with one molecule of one of 20 amino acids The tRNA act as a carrier to transport its specific type of amino acids to the ribosomes. So in the ribosomes, each specific type of tRNA recognizes a particular codon on the mRNA, because now this tRNA is acting upon mRNA. We know mRNA have codons. So the particular codon on mRNA deliver the appropriate amino acid to appropriate protein, which is placing a chain of to appropriate place in the chain of newly forming protein molecule. So tRNA, 80 nucleotides are present in tRNA. These are small than mRNA, and tRNA is a folded chain of nucleotide with mainly, this is important, clover leaf appearance. And at one end there is always adenylylic acid associated with amino acid attached hydroxyl group ribose in adenylylic acid. So each tRNA have specificity for particular codon in the mRNA, and the specific codon in tRNA allows to recognize the specific codon is again triplet of base, and this is anticodon. So anticodon is mainly from a tRNA. So the anticodon is mainly present in the middle of tRNA molecule and at bottom of the clover leaf structure. So during formation of protein, the anticodon is is associated with loosely hydrogen bonding with the codon basis of mRNA, and in this way amino acids are lined up along the mRNA chain and establishing the appropriate sequence of amino acids in the newly forming protein molecule. So now let us see rRNA, that is ribosomal RNA, the third type of RNA, and it is about 60% of the ribosome. Ribosome physical structure in the cytoplasm on which proteins are synthesized, yeah, we know. So there are 75 types of protein divided into structural and enzyme part. So these both parts are required mainly for the manufacture of different proteins. So rRNA is associated with other RNA also. tRNA, we know this is a transport amino acid to ribosome for incorporation into protein. They are saying it again and again. So the ribosome act as a manufacturing plant in which the protein molecules are formed mainly. So the formation of ribosome in nucleolus. So the genes for rRNA in 5 pairs of chromosomes, their duplicate also present. The duplication is also present. rRNA in the nucleolus. rRNA mainly lie in the nucleolus, and cells where there are large protein synthesis going on, then their nucleolus sizes increase because rRNA is present in nucleolus. So whenever there is high protein synthesis, then nucleolus size also may increase. But whenever there is low protein synthesis, even sometimes this nucleolus is not seen also. So in nucleolus, along with the ribosomal proteins, the primordial subunit. So this is when the nucleolus is associated with the ribosomal proteins, then this is called as primordial subunit of ribosomes. And next what happens is, into the cytoplasm for mature ribosomes. So actually what happens is, this primordial ribosomes, they escape through the nucleopores which are present in the nucleus and enter the cytoplasm, and in cytoplasm they form the mature ribosomes. So the proteins formed in the cytoplasm are not in nucleus because they transfer to the cytoplasm. So the mature ribosomes are present in cytoplasm, hence the proteins formation also takes place in the cytoplasm, that is translation process. Next, coming to miRNA, that is microRNA. So these are very short, 21 to 23 nucleotide single stranded RNA, regulate the gene expression, and they are uncoded. They are encoded from transcribed DNA of genes but not translated, and often called non-coding RNA. This is very important. So what is the non-coding RNA among 6 types of RNA? That is mainly our microRNA. In the name only you can understand it is micro, so it doesn't have any code. And microRNA is complementary to mRNA and act to reduce the gene expression. And miRNA mainly involves a special processing of longer 10 precursor RNAs called pri-mRNAs. This is primary transcript of gene, and this is processed in the nucleus by microprocessor complex to pre-miRNA. And this pre-miRNA have 70 nucleotide stem loop structure. This is processed in the cytoplasm mainly by dicer enzyme, and this is assembled RNA induced silencing complexes from RISC and generate the miRNAs. So this is how this process goes on. And next we have, so miRNA mainly regulate the gene expression by binding to complementary region of RNA and promoting the translation or degradation of mRNA before it can be translated by ribosome. So one thing one more important about microRNA is it is complementary to mRNA, remember that. And alterations in microRNA are associated with diseases like cancer and heart diseases. And another miRNA, that is siRNA, a small interfering RNA, also called as silencing RNA or short interfering RNA. Now let us check out about this short interfering RNA. This is double-stranded RNA molecules. They have 20 to 25 nucleotides in length and interfere with the expression of specific genes. So this is mainly synthetic means it is not natural, it is synthetic microRNA administered to silence mainly the expression of some specific kind of genes, and it is designed to avoid the nuclear processing by microprocessor complex. And after the small interfering RNA enters this, it is tailored for any specific sequence in gene, or also sometimes used to block the translation of any mRNA and or its expression only. And this enters the cytoplasm and activates the RISC complex and blocking the translation on mRNA. And next, any gene for which nucleotide sequence is known. So siRNA is useful therapeutic tools to mainly silence the gene that contribute to pathophysiology of diseases. And mRNA along with ribosome, mRNA codon along with associated with ribosome begin at the predetermined end of RNA by sequence of RNA bases called chain initiating codon. And mRNA passed by the ribosome, protein is formed and it is processed. This process is called translation. So the ribosome reads the codons of mRNA in same way as a tape read as it passes by a playback head of tape recorder. So when stopper chain terminating codon slips past the ribosome, end of protein is signaled and protein molecule is freed into cytoplasm. And next we have here polyribosomes. This is a single mRNA can form protein molecules in several ribosomes at same time, because initial end of RNA can pass to ribosome as it leaves first. So 3 to 10 ribosomes are attached to the single mRNA at same time, and these clusters are called polyribosomes. So the newly forming polypeptide chains pass by the endoplasmic reticulum into endoplasmic reticulum matrix. So each amino acid activated by the chemical process and ATP is combined with the amino acid and form the AMP. It is activated amino acid associated with the combines with specific tRNA to form amino acid tRNA and release AMP. So this amino acid tRNA contacts mRNA in ribosome, and anticodon RNA is associated with the codon of mRNA and form proteins to the peptide transferase. Because of peptide transferase, the peptide bonds are formed between amino acids and requires the 4 high energy bonds. So next, coming to peptide linkage. So actually amino acid associated with other amino acid form the protein, that is peptide chains. So the chemical reaction is that mainly the hydroxyl end is removed from the COOH portion of the first amino acid, and the hydrogen of the NH2 portion of other amino acid is also removed. So these combine to form the hydrogen and 2 reactive sites left on the 2 successive amino acids, which bond with each other results in one molecule. So this process is called peptide linkage, and as each amino acid is added, additional peptide linkages form. So the biochemical activities in cell are controlled mainly by genetic regulation and enzyme regulation. So let us see the genetic regulation. Although the cardiac myocyte contains the same genetic code as renal tubule, epithelial cells, many genes are expressed in cardiac cells that are not expressed in renal tubule cells. So the ultimate measure of gene expression is how much of protein is produced. So the regulation of gene expression occur at transcription level, RNA processing level, translation level, and the promoter of gene also controls the gene expression. So the basal promoter has 7 bases, that is starter box, which is binding site in the this binding site is a transcription factor 2D and transcription factor 2B, which mainly binds to both DNA and RNA. Remember that only 2B, as the name 2, you can say that it is binding to both DNA and RNA polymerase and polymerase 2 to facilitate the transcription of DNA into RNA. So the basal promoter is found in all protein coding genes and polymerase must bind with it. So upstream promoter have several binding sites for positive and negative transcription factors, vary from genes to genes and give rise to different expression patterns of the genes in different tissues. So the transcription of genes in eukaryotes also influenced by enhances. So what is this enhances? They are distance from the genes either upstream or downstream, and these enhances are close when the DNA is coiled in the nucleus. And there are about 110,000 gene enhancer sequences in human genome. The separation of chromosome by chromosome insulators is modulated by DNA methylation, that is mammalian insulin like growth factor 2. Mother allele has insulator between enhancer and promoter, allow binding of transcriptional or repressor gene, and paternal DNA sequence is methylated and the transcription repressor can't bind to the insulator, and the IGF2 gene is expressed from the paternal copy of gene. So the promoter controlled by the transcription factor in the genome, and the regulatory gene regulate the protein activator or repressor of the transcription. So different promoter controlled at same time by same regulatory protein and function as activator for one promoter and repressor for another promoter. So within each chromosome, the DNA is wound around small protein called histones. So environmental factors which switch genes and on or off the genes are called epigenetics. So enzyme regulation is second type of cellular biochemical control of functions in cell, and enzyme inhibition, it inhibits the specific enzymes and cause the allosteric conformational change that induces that inactivate its. Example, negative feedback controls the intracellular concentration of different amino acids, purines, pyrimidines, vitamins, and also other substances. Now let us talk about enzyme activation. So actually inactive enzyme gets activated. So when there is decreased ATP, CAMP is produced cyclic AMP, and it is formed as a breakdown product of ATP. So presence of cyclic AMP activates the glycogen splitting enzyme phosphorylase, liberating the glucose molecules metabolized with enzyme phosphorylase, and energy is used for replacement of ATP store. So cyclic AMP acts as enzyme activator for enzyme phosphorylase and helps to control intracellular ATP concentration. So in purines and pyrimidines formation, both enzyme inhibition and activation can be seen, and they are required for DNA and RNA formation. So the continuous crossfeed between the resulting equal amount of production. So genetic testing is mainly done to determine the genetic defects in abnormal baby, and to find the people who carry the genetic defects to the children, and to confirm in people with genetic defect symptoms or they are having any risk of genetic diseases, or to determine the treatment for these genetic diseases. So the chromosomes example is Down syndrome. So 3 copies of chromosomes 21 are present instead of normal 2 set of chromosomes, that is pair of chromosomes. So this is causing trisomy 21, that is Down syndrome. And the gene is a mutation of genes, and proteins is a gene code protein. So evaluation of gene product, the protein also can be done. So the DNA is a genetic system which controls the cell reproduction. So 10 to 30 hours life cycle in mammalian cells is terminated by mitosis in 30 minutes, and 95% of the cycle, that is reproductive cells, are present in between the mitosis and interphase. So the DNA duplication 5 to 10 hours before the mitosis and completed in 4 to 8 hours. So the complete 2 strands replicate by DNA polymerase and DNA ligase, binding of successive DNA nucleotides to one another by phosphate bonds, and new DNA attached by hydrogen bond to original DNA, and it is used as template. So 2 DNA helixes are coiled together. So the 2 helixes become uncoiled, DNA repair, proofreading, mutation between the replication and begin of mitosis. So there is active repair or proofreading of DNA, and the repair is done by DNA polymerases, and DNA ligases is mainly used in replication known as DNA proofreading. So if there is any mistake, it may lead to mutation. So the histone core is electropositive, important role in the regulation of DNA activity, and the next decondense that histone, so DNA converted into RNA, and non-histone proteins act as activators, inhibitors, and enzymes. And next coming to mitosis. So mitosis, 2 daughter cells are formed. Only important points we'll discuss. Centriole, 9 parallel tubular structures are present, which is in the form of cylinder, and 2 lie in the centrioles mainly had 2, and they lie in right angles to each other, along with the pericentriolar material, which is nothing but centrosome. And aster is a spiny star formed in each cell, each end, and the microtubules along with 2 pairs of centrioles mainly form mitotic apparatus. So the minute contractile protein is a molecular motors made up of actin and extend between the spines and stepping action of muscle. And next, anaphase. Anaphase, two separate set of 46 chromosomes. 46 pairs of chromatids are formed by two separate set of 46 chromosomes, and from endoplasmic reticulum the separate nuclear membrane for daughter cells is formed, pinching contractile ring microfilaments, actin and myosin. So some cells grow and reproduce all the time as blood forming cells of bone marrow, germinal layer of skin and epithelium of gut. Smooth muscle is not reproducing for years. 7 to 8 liver cells removed in some young animals, and growth controlled by the growth factors like epithelial cells of pancreas fail to grow if there are no growth factors. Telomeres prevent degeneration of chromosome. Actually, telomeres are the region of repetitive nucleotide sequence at each end of the chromatid, and it is a protective cap which prevents the chromosome destruction during the cell division, and the primer RNA is attached with the DNA to start the replication. So the telomere is a disposable chromosome buffer. The cell division 30 to 200 base pairs from the ends are the lost, and in RBC the length of the telomeres is 8000 base pairs at birth and as low as 1500 in elderly. And when telomere is shortened, then the chromosome is unstable and die, and whenever this telomere is shortened it is causing aging, and also by diseases they decrease like oxidative stress and inflammation. So in stem cells of the marrow or skin germ cells, enzyme telomerase add bases to the telomers. So in cancers, increase in the telomerase is abnormality, and colchicine prevent the mitotic spindle formation, prevent mitosis, and cells grow larger due to other proteins like RNA or proteins, cell proteins. And primordial mesoderm called primary organization of embryo, and it later forms a mesodermal axis, have somites and results in induction, causes the formation of all organs of the body. Apoptosis is a programmed cell death when cells are no longer needed, so the neighboring phagocyte macrophages attach to the cell membrane and digest it. So if there is acute injury, the cells swell and burst, and there is necrosis which cause inflammation, injury to the neighboring cells. So remember that in apoptosis there is no injury to neighboring cells, but in necrosis there is injury to the neighboring cells. And this apoptosis process is activated by caspases which are converted into procaspases, and this cascade goes on. So the abnormal apoptosis leading to neurodegenerative disease, there is Alzheimer's disease, cancer, and also associated with autoimmune disease, and also chemotherapeutic drugs also induce the apoptosis in cancer cells, because actually chemotherapy means the drugs which are given to prevent or destroy the cancer, and they induce apoptosis in cancer cells. Means this is a good news, because they should cause apoptosis and kill those cancer cells so that only a person can live happily. So this is all about like a just very quick overview. If someone has read already this chapter and understood the concept, mainly we'll discuss this in biochemistry in a very detail. So this is just an overview.